Welcome back to the Choten podcast, everybody, where we talk to the leaders and innovators shaping the future of business and especially in the AI world. Today, I'm joined by someone who's making a massive impact on an industry a lot of people don't really fully understand. Today, I'm joined by Ulises De La Cruz, CEO of XFactor Academy, which is an AI native LMS for the modern workforce. Ulises, how are you doing today? Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks to you, Abid. That's the best introduction I ever had. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you, of course. Well, Ulises, let's just jump right in. Tell us a little bit about X Factor Academy.
Yes, of course. XFactor Academy is an AI native LMS platform, but not as other AI native platforms that are on the market currently. The big difference is that we're integrating a set of different technologies that are proven to increase retention and engagement rates. For instance, gamification, we're also implementing social learning, we're also implementing VR. So we have the combination of these technologies in order to produce more engagement in the employees in the corporate arena. One of the statistics that really hit me before I started building this Factor Academy is that the completion rates for the corporate world in terms of LMS is around 5 to 15% with the legacy, and 70% of whatever a person acquires in terms of knowledge in training is going to be lost in less than 24 hours. So that really represents more than 10 million in lost money, like every year, for companies that had over 1,000 employees. So I think the statistics are very cold.
Yeah, I didn't realize that, but it makes a lot of sense. You know, there are a lot of times where I've done training and I forgot the very next day what I thought I'd retain. So I think you have
Yeah.
a lot of good reasons to continue the work you're doing here. I really want to kind of jump into, why did you decide to go down this route? Why did you decide to create X Factor Academy?
Well, it's been interesting that I could very much summarize it in three different chapters. One day, my daughter Sophia, she's 3 years old. She was naming all different sorts of dinosaurs, in very complicated ones, like some dinosaurs that I didn't even know there existed. And I was thinking, hey, I really want to keep up with her in terms of whatever is coming for the new generations. She's pretty much digital native right now. So I started this path first wanting to become the best commercial leader in the world. And I started preparing myself in spin selling, medic, and all different kinds of frameworks that are out there. And it turns out that after some time, I realized technology was advancing so quickly that I started figuring out that maybe it should apply in favor for me, right? So at that point, I started learning a lot about sales and marketing and preparing myself very strongly. I started using generative large language ChatGPT at that time, and I figured out that I was learning faster. But then I was feeling that some trainings, like traditional trainings, were not keeping up with the same pace as technology was like becoming, in terms of quickness and in terms of effectiveness. So I just tried to remember like all the different providers that I had during my life in terms of LMS, in terms of training providers. And I figured out that I was learning faster with ChatGPT at that time.
Yeah.
So I thought, why I don't build something that can help people learn faster? So why you have to become an expert in 3 years and 5 years? Why not 1 year? So that was the first challenge, right? So first thing I thought, hey, should I build it myself? And I was like, you're crazy. You're crazy because you're a commercial guy. You're not a technical guy. So I remember I got obsessed, just trying to make this first draft of the interface. And in this first week, I tried to connect the API, the OpenAI API, and it took me 5 days. Maybe 5 days. And I was about to quit.
Yeah.
And then I pressed the inspect page and I saw the 200, like the confirmation. And then the actual AI agent replied back to me. And it was like, damn, that's huge for me because I'm a commercial guy and I'm doing something technical, right? So just to summarize that, chapter 2 is I pretty much gathered the idea. The first time it was going to be a marketplace, to compete with LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, and the other ones, And Next AI from Canada, they took the project when it was in the idea stage for the incubation program past year. And I remember at that time someone told me, man, this is going to take like $500,000 to build. And I was like, $500,000? It's like, I might not even make it to the market,
Yeah.
So I just kept building and building of it. And just to make a long story short, is I started building with vibe coding, like everything just lined up, right? So I was like, how am I gonna do this? And then vibe coding became a real deal in the market. I started building. I came up with a prototype like 3 months ago, and then the heat of reality again. How am I gonna take this to a production level?
Yeah.
And some guys owed me, like recently, like $150,000 to take 25,000 lines of coding to a production setting. So I thought to myself, hey, should I do it myself? I started the same process again. Now I can tell you I'm 90% production level, like production level
Okay.
tech stack. And I don't know, maybe I'm one of the first commercial guys in, I don't know if in history, I don't want to regard myself that highly, but I feel very happy about it. And I think it's about pushing yourself and believing in yourself, but also have the willingness to go all the way, right? So we're pretty much 1 or 2 weeks to launch this at a production level with beta testers, and that has been the trip. By the way, we pivoted from marketplace to an LMS because I was having a lunch with a guy that was supposed to be my CTO, but at the end of the day he didn't join, and he was like, "Hey man, I think you're building a LMS, not a marketplace." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. We have all these features, we're building an LMS." And since I took that decision like 3 or 4 months ago, like we have been receiving like serious interest from potential customers. So that's pretty much the way I've been following. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for telling me that story. That's a great story. I love hearing the ways and the methods that people follow just to get to that final goal of starting their own business, making their own AI LMS. And one of the things that keeps popping up into my head is this need for perseverance and belief in yourself. So talk to me a little bit about that. You had this idea, you really wanted to achieve this goal. What does that perseverance mean to you?
I mean, perseverance means for me everything in my life. Like, I started practicing Taekwondo when I was 6 years old, and I wanted to drop it like 3 months later. And my father told me, hey, you have to finish what you started. So I get all the way to black belt, right,
Wow.
at 14 years old. Then I wanted to be a professional football player, soccer, for the US people. And I wasn't that good at that time, but I did my best. It took me to professional second division in Mexico with a team called Jaiba Brava, and I'm very proud about it. But then I realized I was too old. At that time, I was 20 years old. And a couple of friends received some scholarships in the US, athletic scholarships. So I recorded myself. I uploaded a video on YouTube. We're talking about 2007, right? It was a long time ago. And at that time, very like handcraft, I went to all these thousands of universities' websites and just got the emails from the athletic coaches, from the soccer coaches, and had sent 5,000 emails to all of them to have 3 real opportunities. And then it took me to New Mexico, to this little town called Hobbs, New Mexico, 2 hours away from Roswell, and I graduated from there. So all of my life has been perseverance. Then I went to China, to this city called Guangzhou. We're talking about 2012. Not many people speak English at that time, so I had to communicate even with signs. But it has been one of the best experiences I had in my life. And talking about professional life, I was one of the first guys to bring VR technology to Mexico. We're talking about 2014. Well-trained technology and forklift technology. And I wouldn't say it was a huge mistake. It didn't get me to a right point at the end, but I learned so much. I was supposed to sell the machine, and I was selling training courses, and it took me to Costa Rica, and took me to Jamaica and some other places. And I was very young, didn't have a budget, so people will ask a quotation for me or something, and they will quote me against these big companies in the US, like Lincoln Electric or some companies in Canada, and then those guys just send a quotation $500 sends on me, and never actually got to sell something. But that experience, in the VR world, made me integrate the VR thing to our platform right now. So everything has been, this knowledge that you can apply later in your life. And one of the most impactful stories I might have is, I have this company in Ciudad del Carmen. It's co-working spaces. It's called Omnistar. The first day, the day I found the company, the inauguration day, my mother was dying of cancer. So when I inaugurated the company, I had a very rough time of my life.
Yeah.
So the company keeps working right now, but this first year was very complicated. Lots of debt, lots of problems, lots of things to get deal with. And then I found out that I was going to be a father. So not the right timing. So I have to drop the project at that time. The project keeps working, but I have to drop it like physically in the location that I was located in Ciudad del Carmen, Campeche, and I had to get a job. I really, I really like that job. It was huge experience. We grew more than 100% year-over-year growth, 2 years in a row. I learned lots of stuff, and then here I go again. Hey, I want to be an entrepreneur again.
Yeah.
So
Usually how it
this
goes.
is life. I just get over it, just learn, keep advancing, and keep moving.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, that's great. Like I said, I really appreciate you sharing all of that. One of the things that you mentioned, you got the job that you wanted to be the entrepreneur again. I see that's very often with a lot of people who have that entrepreneurial mindset, is that even when they're kind of forced to take a step back, get into that role working for somebody else, they always find their way back into entrepreneurship. And a lot of the audience is going to be people who, are founders, are people who want to get into entrepreneurships or are already entrepreneurs. And they go through a lot of the same things that you mentioned. I think that's really important. I do really want to speak about AI and really the shift in the business world and what it really means for AI to be implemented in all future businesses and what it means for your business specifically.
Well, I think it's been a game changer, not only in terms of business, but also in terms of humanity. Like for people like me, whatever I'm building right now, I couldn't have done it 3 or 5 years ago. It was just the right timing. And for me, AI has brought the possibilities for a range group of people. I will say for all, if you want to get involved in AI. So pretty much whatever you think right now, whatever you think in terms of business ideas or whatever you're trying to do, now you can do it. You have the willingness to learn. And some things that took 3 years before are taking 3 months, 6 months. And AI itself is revolutionizing how we learn, how we interact, and how we build things and how we create things. So it's accelerating humanity. And the thing is that you can get a little bit of FOMO because things are advancing so fast. Like I have all these guys on LinkedIn innovating and creating stuff every time. And then you have all these different kinds of large language models. And nowadays it's not only OpenAI, it's also the last model of Gemini 3.0 is great. Last model of Cloud 4.5 is great also. I use Cloud for coding, for instance, and I've been using more Gemini for regular tasks now. And OpenAI is like, I have certain kind of, I don't know how to say it, like, as empathy for OpenAI. It has been with me the last 3 years, but
Right.
nowadays I think I'm using more Gemini and Cloud. So a lot of things are changing. First, the AI seems to be like an intelligent chatbot, and now we have agentic AI. Now you can perform deep researches, you can automate everything, you can connect everything. Now you have end-to-end doing wonderful stuff, and you have platforms like Supabase, Firebase, also connecting relational databases in a way that it wasn't possible before. So we are living a wonderful and exciting era. And of course, it's causing a lot of fear in a lot of people. I know,
Right.
I know. But if you use it in your favor, we're living in one of the best eras possible, from my point of view.
Absolutely. How are you implementing AI into your sales processes, if at all?
Yeah, well, first, I'm pretty much kind of automating everything I can. I'm automating. This is a combination of different technologies. For instance, for OpenAI, I'm using tasks just to keep informed. So it's sending me like these regular emails every day to my inbox. I'm using Google Script to automate my Gmail. So that's a wonderful thing to do because you can get just into the script inside Google, and you can automate a bunch of tasks. And you can connect it to the AI. The AI can also read everything that is inside your inbox. I'm using Cloud on a regular basis to produce documents, to produce knowledge. I'm using Notion connected with Cloud to push that knowledge to Notion, and also to get it back to Cloud and have this communication. One of the latest tools I've been using is N8N. I think it's a wonderful tool. I try a bit with this, with the canvas that OpenAI just recently launched, the one similar to N8N, I forgot the name. I think it's also very good, but it seems a little bit more limited than 8N at this point. So everything is getting automated, and of course there's a bunch of tools out there, For me, that I come from a commercial side, like Apollo for prospecting is nice. Hotspot keeps being one of the daily tools that I'm using. So there's a lot of things out there, but I think the big secret is just streamline your processes and make them the most correlated and seamless.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about the, with AI taking a much bigger relevant role in our day-to-day lives, let's talk about the human element of it all. Why is that so important, or if it is?
It is very important. It is very important because, there's two ways of seeing it. If I go to a company and say, hey, you don't need 10 employees to perform this task, maybe you just need 2 or 3, or maybe just one. There's two ways of seeing it. Is it that people are going to lose their jobs, or is it that you're going to take that time to make people more productive and to focus on other stuff, right?
That's something
So
that I'd love to
I
see.
think, so I think there's different ways of seeing it. I believe that new job opportunities and in new areas are going to be developed in the upcoming years. And of course, humanity is going to have to evolve in a sense, in a mindset, to adopt the AI like something that is going to improve the society. It's not, something that is going to damage society itself. I think it's accelerating lots of processes in a good way. Nowadays, the human factor keeps being important because you cannot rely entirely on the AI. There's big companies and there's lots of cases that AI has been, having these hallucinations and not providing the right data. And there's very delicate processes that still need some sort of human supervision. And of course, you can lower that gap if you set up the AI with context, with relational databases and stuff. I know, but I believe human element is still very important. Is that if we free up the human hours because we're being productive using AI, I think that one of the biggest questions is how we're gonna use those human hours in favor of companies and in favor of society.
Right. That's a perfect way to put it. One of the big things that I have been sort of preaching is what you've said. It's not that AI should be replacing people. It's that AI should be a tool in the toolbox that makes people's time more efficient. One of the big statistics that's out there is that only about 30% of salespeople actually spend their time doing sales activity, and the other 70% is spent doing admin work, meetings, things of that nature. With AI being able to tackle a lot of that manual work, that admin tasks, the follow-up, stuff like that, you have the ability to give your salespeople much more time, 50% more time than they would have had before to do sales generating activity, which in turn is going to give them bigger commission checks, and it's going to give you more revenue as a company and more profit. So what you said was perfect. The use of AI is going to be really important rather than the replacement of humans with AI.
Totally, yeah. Just to give you an example, like when I started my sales career, like in 2010, we have some sort of call center models, so you have to try to make 80 calls per day. So the effective rate of contact is going to be 30%. So you're going to be speaking to 25 to 10 people, and then it's going to be a 10 minutes average call, and then it's going to take 20% of the time just to write whatever happened in that call. And that model was very successful then. I mean, still working, adapted, of course, to different environments and to different variables. But then in my last job, I started realizing that we could do more calls, we could be more effective. And for instance, for Latin America, we could actually leverage WhatsApp in a way that it wasn't leveraged before, because it turns out that new generations don't want to speak on the phone. They rather prefer to have these message conversations,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I realized, just analyzing the numbers, that we could have a model that is twice as productive as this model I just told you. Like, it was very successful, like 12 years ago in the education world. So everything's getting optimized, everything's moving faster. I think that's very good for all the careers in general, but for salespeople, commercial people, I think it's a very good news.
Right. What do you think are the potential drawbacks of AI or relying too heavily on it?
Well, of course, I think that's a debate that even the most prepared people are struggling to have this position. I think one of the drawbacks is if it doesn't get regulated. There's always these jokes about Europe making lots of regulations and North America actually applying the AI. But I believe whatever is going on with the GDPR and all these initiatives, to regulate the AI, I think they're good because even if things can speed up at a pace we haven't seen before, we also have to accompany these generations that are struggling with these changes. I believe it's our duty as society uh, to help in the transition to our society, to our people, to people in the companies, to help them with training, to help them adapt, to create special programs. Where are the boomers with all of this? Where are the Gen Xers with all of this? We have to help them transition and to become productive and to understand and to implement AI in benefit of them as well. So I think we have a huge role as society to ensure a smooth transition that cares about other people in society in general.
Yeah, yeah, awesome, man. I couldn't have said it a bit better. So I want to shift the topic to maybe some potential founders or entrepreneurs that may be listening who are hoping to get into something like this and follow your footsteps. What piece of advice could you give them about doing something like this?
Yes, just you have to be obsessed about your idea, and obsessed in a good way. Amazon declares we're customer obsessed. I think that's the angle of the obsession that I'm talking about. So if you're obsessed about an idea and you believe in what you're building and you believe in your abilities, you will find a way to make things happen. I think that's very important. And the other thing is, whatever you thought it wasn't possible, even 6 months ago, 1 year ago, revise it again. Because nowadays, I can truly tell you, since I don't know if I'm supposed to be a commercial founder, but I just got into a program in Germany. It's called from this university, construction university, it's construction start. And this guy asked me, "Hey, who's gonna do the sales?" And I'm the sales guy. And he asked me because he said like, "Hey, I know you know a lot about product and you know a lot about the technical side of it, but who's gonna do sales?" And I was like, "I'm the sales guy." So right now, I think kind of an hybrid. I have kind of an hybrid profile. So I'm getting back to the point again. What I'm saying is, whatever you thought it was very difficult to accomplish, whatever you thought you couldn't do it, now you can do it. Just give it, think it over again, and you will find a different answer.
Beautifully said. Actually, this reminds me of a conversation that I had with my brother actually last night. We were speaking about, how far athletes have gotten since the beginning of times, how much more athletic, how much bigger, faster, and stronger they are. And we spoke about a story where before people thought it was impossible to run a mile under 4 minutes. No one had ever done it. It was the most impossible physical feat. As soon as one person ran a mile under 4 minutes, I believe it was in the next week, someone else ran it under 4 miles or under 4 minutes. And then after that, within that same year, multiple other runners ran it within that same under 4 minutes. And that really speaks to the idea is that something may seem impossible until you see it. And now it's possible. You see all these other founders like yourself who are doing the thing. You see a lot of founders who started at nothing and now they're in the luxury apartment in Dubai with the Lamborghini. And all this to say is that it's possible. If someone else has done it, you can too as a founder. I really like that story. I really like what you said about being obsessed. And if something is impossible, to revisit that. It's a great message to send to new founders.
Yeah, thanks, David. And I know this kind of things that I'm saying right now, I think they're gonna get me more competitors. But it's fine. It's fine. Like we have to raise the bar in favor of education. There's a lot of things in education that are really outdated that need to get better. So if I can pressure a bit, the big guys, and then someone comes after me to pressure me, I think it's gonna be in benefit of all of us, like all of us workforces, all of us in terms of society.
Right. Iron sharpens iron, right? As soon as you have that other competitor, you're going to get sharper as well. It's a double-edged sword, right? Yeah, you're going to give yourself more competitors, but because you have more competitors, you're going to sharpen your own iron. So
Totally, yes.
that's great. Also, one of the things that Alex Hormozy talks about a lot is to give away as much free possibilities, free game, so that when people see your face and people know, oh, I can get all of this for free, what could I get if I pay for it? So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
that viewpoint. I think it's
Alex
great.
Hermosi has really nice content, and you know what you just said that Alex Hermosi says as well. It actually comes from Robert Cialdini in this principle of reciprocity. So if you give first, then people are going to be looking for to return what you have given.
Absolutely.
And of course, it's very interesting because Robert Cialdini also explains that there's a way of doing it because it not always happens, but there's way to give. There's ways to give in order to receive. And yeah,
Right.
that's yeah.
Yeah. That's great, man. I've had a really good time. I just want to shoot you with a few rapid fire questions. Just first thing that pops into mind, and we'll go from there, okay? So
Sure.
tell me, what was the hardest challenge you faced in your business thus far?
Product development. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's also struggling with that?
Keep going, keep pushing.
Awesome. All right. What's your favorite type of food?
Mole, is traditional
Ooh,
Mexican
mole. Yeah,
dish.
it's the chocolate dish,
Favorite,
correct?
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. See, I'm in Texas, so we have a pretty big Mexican influence here. So I've had a lot of Mexican friends. I love the mole. One thing that I really like, oh man, I forgot the name of it. It's the egg dish, chilaquiles. I
Nice,
love.
nice, nice. And you have lots of guacamole in Texas, like
Oh yeah, I love
everywhere.
it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. But awesome, man. Well, okay. I've had a great conversation. I want you to tell the audience, where can we find you online and connect with you?
Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn at Ulises De La Cruz, and you can also find me at XFactorAcademy.io. If you get there, you're gonna be linked to me, and we're gonna keep in touch. So yeah,
Awesome. And what should our viewers be expecting from you in the next few months?
my reviewer, sorry.
What should our viewers expect from you in the next few months?
Yeah. Well, we're definitely gonna be making some noise. I mean, we're expecting the public launch in March 2026. But if you're watching this video and if you want your company to upskill their workers effectively in the best LMS in the world, we're gonna be opening the beta testing in a couple of weeks. So you can write me a message and I will invite you to test the platform.
Amazing. And Ulysses, I would love to have you back on the show after your launch in March. See what you've updated with the company and see where you're at there, right?
I would love to. Yes, I'm having a very good time. Yeah, I would love to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ulysses. This was a great conversation. I had a great time. For anyone watching this video today, listening to the podcast, comment down below if you have anyone that you would like to hear on the podcast or if you have any topics you'd like us to cover. Thank you so much, Ulysses.
Thanks to you, Abid. Have a nice day.